Hello, my name's Ollie and this is Criminally, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today, mostly horror, but some other stuff as well. I've got a small book haul for you. I wasn't intending to put up a video today on Monday, and then I realised that I've got a few books that have come in over the last couple of weeks that haven't been featured in book hauls yet. One of them I'm sure should have been featured in a book haul, but I checked and I couldn't see that it had been, so I've obviously missed that one. And I've had a couple of other things come in, so I thought I would do a very quick book haul video for you today. So firstly, I've just got back from a trip out to the library and picked up two books that I have talked about on the channel before but haven't shown. So the first one is Heaven by Virginia Andrews. So I'll be reading that in July for Kelly Hooked on Books' VC Andrews reading group. So this is the first of the Castile books. I have the second and third somewhere behind me, which I picked up second hand, but I didn't have the first one, and it was like, I could have bought a copy off eBay reasonably cheaply, but I was fairly sure I would have ended up getting this horrible UK edition rather than a nicer vintage edition. So I didn't want to pay money for this disgusting cover, so I just got it out of the library instead. And then also for the birth year reading group, where we're reading the favourite birth year book tags of various booktubers. I said that wrong, didn't I? For some reason, it's really difficult to say. I've noticed other people tripping up on it when they try and say it as well. So the favourite birth year books of various booktubers. So this one was chosen by an enthusiastic reader, and it is from, what year is it from? I'm going to have to take my glasses off because the print's very small. 1966. So this is The Last Picture Show by Larry McMurtry. So obviously I read Lonesome Dove recently and really loved that. Lovely cover image of a very young Sybil Shepherd from the movie version. So Sybil Shepherd of Moonlighting fame. So yeah, this is supposed to be excellent. I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think I'm going to read it immediately after The Terror by Dan Simmons, which I've nearly finished. So there's a couple of people already discussing it on my Discord. So Michael Romeo from Michael Romeo Loves Books and Duncan McCurdy have both started reading it. And both, I think there's a reread for both of them, but both of them are saying how much they're enjoying it. So looking forward to that. And then when I was out at the library, as there's a few charity shops round and about the vicinity of the library, so I popped into those and didn't get very much, but I did get a couple of Shaun Hutson hardcovers. So these are, I think, both ones that I've read before. I've definitely read this one, Purity, before, because I remember the cover very well. But I don't own a copy of it at the moment, I don't think. I didn't actually check, but I don't think I do. So I got this one, which is from sometime in the 90s, I guess. 98. These are both book club editions. So I got that one, and then I also got Captives. Captives, I'm not sure if I've read or not. I definitely remember the cover, but I don't remember when I read the blurb. I don't remember reading it. But it's one of his sort of policey ones, with a policeman investigating brutal murders, and it also has a wonderful picture of Shaun Hutson on the back there with his big poodle hair. So it was only £1. It was worth the £1 just for that big colour picture of Shaun Hutson's poodle hair. Okay, so some other things that I have bought online then. So a variety of things. So I had one thing that came in a bit late for June on the Range, and so I didn't manage to fit it in, but that was Payback at Morning Peak by Gene Hackman, the actor, which is supposed to be, from the reviews of it I've read from people I trust, or people who've spoken about it, it's supposed to be a bit longer than it needs to be. So it's 360 pages. I think by the sound of it, it probably could have been 250, but it's supposed to be pretty good. So yeah, looking forward to that. And I quite like the idea of reading a book by an actor. Well, I say that. I don't like reading books by celebrities necessarily. I think there's something quite trashy about someone trying to cash in on their fame by writing a book. But I quite like the fact that it's a Western, because that suggests to me that Gene Hackman has written it because he wanted to write it, rather than, Tom Hanks's collection of, kind of literary short stories, I think is a little bit twee and annoying probably. And certainly, people like, I'm trying to think of, so Joan Collins, I'm fairly sure Joan Collins has published at least one novel. And Kate O'Mara the actress who's sort of like the low rent Joan Collins, wasn't she, bless her? She published a couple of novels as well. So I think there's something really trashy about that. But Gene Hackman writing a novel, I can get behind that. I also got this one, Airport Cop by Charles Miron. So I've got one of the sequels to it. I'm not sure how many there were in the series, but I've got Airport Cop Twilight Strangler back there as well. It's a lovely vintagey cover. I mean, you can guess what it's about. It's a bit of a Ron Seal title, isn't it? It's about a cop at the airport. But yeah, looks pretty good. I then got I got a couple of US horror novels, so a couple of leisure horror novels off eBay by authors I've never read. So Edward Lee and Brian Keene. So I got Slither by Edward Lee, which was recommended to me by Plagued by Visions as being a book about sex worms. So, you know, obviously I had to read it. I've had a saved eBay search going for this for ages until a copy turned up, you know, for less than like 15 quid or something ridiculous like that. And this one did indeed show up. I think it was about 7 quid or something like that. So it wasn't too bad, but it's a fantastic cover. And it's about sex worms. So it's got to be good. And then the Brian Keene one, also about worms, was The Conqueror Worms, which I think is probably his most famous book. So various people in the comments and other places have recommended Brian Keene to me recently, and yeah, I've never read him, and I do love this really awful Photoshop cover. It's truly terrible. They do look like, oh no, they're not quite the same worms. I did wonder if it was the same worms on both, but I don't think it is. And then I've also got a book which I'm really looking forward to reading, actually. So I've got Gore Vidal's Caligula. So Troy Tradup, or Trade Up. Sorry, Troy, I don't know how you pronounce your name. I think I've always said it Tradup, and then Michael K. Vaughan mentioned you the other day, and I think he called you Trade Up. So I don't know. Anyway, he suggested that this might be the trashiest book in existence. So I will do a video on it once I've read this book. But if you don't know, Caligula was a movie financed by the owner, I think, of Penthouse magazine in the late 70s, early 80s. When did this come out? Late 70s. Directed by a director called Tinto Brass, who was Italian, I think, or Spanish. He was quite well known, but well known for making like dirty movies. The screenplay was by Gore Vidal, the famous writer, and it had loads of really famous actors in it, like Peter O'Toole, Helen Mirren, Malcolm McDowell. So loads of really famous actors in it, but also had lots of sex, basically, with people who weren't famous actors. So basically it was like a really big budget porn movie with famous people in it and a really overblown script by Gore Vidal. And then there's a novelisation of it. So Troy, not unreasonably, suggested that this might be the trashiest book ever. So we will see what happens. I believe that I did some research on this, and if I remember rightly, the screenplay that they ended up filming was based on the one that Gore Vidal wrote, but a number of changes were made to it. I think this is actually based on his original screenplay rather than the movie, if that makes sense. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see whether it claims the crown of trashiest book. And then finally, I have a book that was very, very kindly sent to me by a subscriber, Rick Croucher. So thank you very much, Rick. So this is Drood by Dan Simmons, which is a beast of a horror novel about Charles Dickens and Wilkie Collins. So as I said earlier on, I'm reading The Terror by Dan Simmons at the moment, and boy is it good. I am really enjoying it. I've nearly finished it. So it's a long book. It's like 900 pages, but I started it on Saturday, and I actually barreled through it over the weekend. I did quite a bit of gardening and stuff at the weekend, but it wasn't a terribly busy weekend apart from that. So yes. So anyway, I'm really enjoying that. But Rick had mentioned this book in a comment and had asked me if I'd read it, and he said he thought it was a really, really interesting book. And I said I hadn't, and he very kindly sent me a copy. Because he's interested in knowing what I think of it. So I will get to it soon. But having finished one huge Dan Simmons book, I may not read it right away. I may read it later this month, or if not, in a couple of months' time. But yeah, looking forward to that anyway. So thanks again, Rick. So yeah, just a small book haul for you today. And now, as always, I need to pluck a book from my shelves to talk about. I haven't actually thought about this in advance, but I've just seen one, which is perfect. So let me pull it out. Gosh. everything's falling over. Okay, the book is Hyperion by Dan Simmons. So another Dan Simmons book. This is very well thought of. So the first of the Hyperion books. I'm not sure how many there are in the series, but I know there's a few. So I read a few of Dan Simmons' horror novels when I was in my late teens. So Carrying Comfort, Summer of Night, Song of Carly are the ones that spring to mind, and really, really like them. But I've never read this, but lots of people whose opinions I really respect say it's fantastic. So a while ago I picked up this Galank's 50th anniversary edition with the yellow cover. I do like these yellow covers. I think they're really quite striking and cool looking. But yes, I have not read it yet, but it's supposed to be a wonderful space opera. It's not too long, certainly not as long as Drood. It's under 500 pages. So yeah, I shall read this at some point. So yeah, as always, if you've read this, do let me know in the comments if you think I should read it sooner. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. Yeah, let me know if you've read any of these. And as always, hope you're safe and well. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.